Okay, I'm live. Let's try this one more time. This is so weird. I went I went live and then I thought it was in public and then I'm restarting it now. So for whoever is there, I hope that somebody's there. This is a Twin Peaks related video. So if you with spoilers, so if you haven't watched any Twin Peaks related videos, or if you haven't watched Twin Peaks, not related videos, but if you haven't watched Twin Peaks yet, maybe you shouldn't be watching this. This is kind of like going more into depth about certain theories and stuff. I'm loving all of your theories, and I'm loving that people have so many different theories, and I'm loving all the love coming my way in terms of, Twin Peaks and just the love for both Frost and Lynch. Joseph says, hey, Dacob, where do I live? I live in the fashion bunker. Todd F, hi, how you doing? So, I have a hair in my mouth. No pun intended. Okay, listen, as the title says, I still have a hair in my mouth. This is the Hitchcock theory about who is Judy. So I think maybe this theory has been out already. I'm not so sure. I mean, we know the Laura Palmer theory, but related to Hitchcock. But this is particularly about Judy. Joseph is watching from New Jersey. Hi, how you doing? New Jersey in the house. So for those of you, and actually this is also a spoiler for a particular movie by Alfred Hitchcock. So yeah. So if you haven't seen Vertigo and no Twin Peaks, then don't watch. I mean, Vertigo deserves a watch. It's a wonderful movie. It's a part of cinema history. I mean, whatever. We could go into detail, but so anyway, so since I started doing this editing course, I'm right now at I'm going into detail and depth with Avid in particular. But so the first couple of days I was doing the course, we were rewatching and analyzing editing and cuts in a lot of historic movies. So the last time I saw Vertigo was maybe, I don't know, 7 years ago. And I had a chance to rewatch it in depth, spent the whole day analyzing Vertigo. And as it started re-unfolding, I had forgotten certain plot lines of Vertigo. I had forgotten certain character names in Vertigo. Oh, Melinda. Hi, Melinda. And James. Hi, James. Hello from Southern California. So as I started reanalyzing Vertigo, and Melinda, since you're online now, I know Melinda also, you posted that you were rewatching a couple of Hitchcock movies. So great, because now two of us have seen Vertigo like lately. And the story starts unfolding. So, the plot line of Vertigo is basically this guy who's a police officer. He has fear of heights. And because he's jumping off a roof to run somewhere else, a colleague of his is there as well. And because he's so scared of heights, he almost falls but doesn't fall. But then the other cop colleague dies. Rob says, hey from Richmond. Hi, how you doing, Rob? So his colleague dies, and so he feels very guilty. This John character. Then there's Midge. There's a girl, Midge, who's the actress is Barbara Bel Geddes, who also acted in Dallas, and actually she won an Emmy. She was the only, I think, actor from all of the seasons of Dallas that ever won an Emmy for her episode where she had to deal with breast cancer. But that's besides the point. So she's his ex-affair and she's into him, but he's not into her anymore. And then one of his ex-colleagues from school gives him a job to follow, like a sort of detective, his wife. His wife's name is Madeline. Now, we know who else is called Madeline, but in Twin Peaks, Maddie. But whatever. At that point, no lamps clicked in my head yet. So he says, no, I don't want to do it. Then he sees her, and Madeline is acted by Kim Novak. Now, Kim Novak was a beautiful, I think she has passed away since, I don't know if she's still alive. I would have to check. Sorry, Kim, if you're still with us. If you're not, also sorry. Either way. He sees her at a restaurant and falls head over heels. Well, I wouldn't say he falls in love with her, but he's just so attracted to her, and she's so sexy. And so he has this job to follow her because his friend thinks that she might be going insane or that she might be having an affair. Anyway, he decides to follow her also because he's intrigued by her. And she seems to be going cuckoo. And she has all of these weird visions, and he thinks she might be suicidal, and you know, a lot of strange things happen. Anyway, long story short, they end up after many days on top of a tower, and she falls down. He doesn't see her fall down. She falls down. She's dead. And again, he feels guilty because he couldn't follow her all the way to the top of the tower because of the vertigo and all the fears that he has and stuff like that. So he feels guilty double this time, right? So Madeline is dead. He ends up in a psychiatric ward because he just can't deal with the guilt, and he's totally emotional. Midge comes to visit him, but he doesn't react to her. Okay, he doesn't love her. And Neil says, curious what you think about Stanley Kubrick. I adore Stanley Kubrick. Adore Stanley Kubrick. Everything he did. So he, after several months, exits the psychiatry ward or the doctor, whatever, and he kind of is walking through the streets, and he stumbles upon a woman that looks like Madeline. In fact, you know, Hitchcock, I mean, the story, he didn't write the novel, obviously, but the character, John, in the movie doesn't recognize that actually it's the same actress. So it's still Kim Novak acting. They dyed her hair. Now, Madeline, like Laura Palmer, was blonde. Platinum blonde, actually. Madeline is still, it's like a strawberry blonde, but she's like a brunette blonde. So I guess for late 50s standards, she was a dark blonde, light brunette, you could say. For today's standards, she's definitely a sort of a strawberry blonde. So he sees Madeline, but she has different hairstyle. Her accent is different. She's not talking this kind of posh English. It's a more, you know, worker class kind of for those years in terms and standards accent. And of course she says she's not Madeline. She doesn't know who Madeline is. And he's like, what is your name? And this is, mind you, it's very similar to what Lynch does. And we know that Lynch loves Alfred Hitchcock and is very much inspired by Alfred Hitchcock, both aesthetically and from, especially aesthetically. Oh, Melinda says, I just watched Vertigo last night for the first time. Well, Melinda, did anything seem peculiar to you? The fact that the same actress changes color of her hair and acts as two different characters in the same movie in the 50s already, and Lynch brings it back in the 90s with Laura and Maddie. But guess what, guys? This goes further. Now it's giving me bad connection. God, I hate my internet. This is so annoying. Can you guys still see me? It says like very bad connection now. Ugh. Somebody needs to say that you see me, otherwise I can't continue. Okay, Melinda still sees me. Good. All right, Todd still sees me. So we have the same actress, different hairstyle. She even changes her way of speaking, just like Sheryl Lee does as Carrie. She has a different accent at the end of Twin Peaks. Madeline is now called Judy. I mean, who do we not see in Twin Peaks: The Return? From all the Sheryl Lee characters, who's the one missing? And yet Jeffries tells Mr. C, when Mr. C says, where's Judy? You know, I want to know where Judy is. He says, oh, you've already seen Judy. Why? Is he telling Bob that Bob saw Judy already? Because Bob killed Madeline. Mr. C saw Maddie in the Black Lodge. She was there too. Laura says, don't I look just like my cousin? Vertigo shows Madeline and Judy to be the same person. Make of it whatever you wish, guys. Listen, I just love these theories and I love all of these ideas, and we know that Lynch loves Hitchcock, but the fact that we have this character exchange, that we have the same actress acting, you know, from the blonde to this kind of light, darker blonde, brunette, light brunette, the fact that we have Madeline and Judy in that movie, and the fact that nothing is what it seems, and what is evil can be good, and what is good can be evil. and evil can fall in love with goodness. That's something very Lynchian too. And one of the crucial points of the movie Vertigo is a dream sequence that John has. Another similarity to Lynch's world of Twin Peaks. And it is a very interesting and experimental dream sequence for that matter, because it's one of the early uses. I mean, Disney already did use cartoons blended in with real live actors, but mostly like black and white cartoons. I think in the 60s came his first experimentation in feature films, but in terms of let's say a noir movie or a thriller or a drama movie like Vertigo is, it was a very experimental way of dealing with dreams, and a very beautiful aesthetical way. I mean, I'm not saying that there was a red room in a Hitchcock movie, but Hitchcock did create different colors to represent the space he was filming in within the dream. So we have nuances of blue and red and purple kind of flowing through the skin of John, of the main actor, of the main character. And then we have a cartoon added in it, like a flower, and the petals all kind of turn around and fly into... roses were there as well. I don't recall a blue rose. We'll have to check that again, now to think of it. But I don't think there was a blue rose in the bouquet. And he has this vision of Madeline, who he still thinks is Madeline, but turns out she's not Madeline, she's Judy. And the only way he can find out that Madeline is actually lying to him and she is indeed, that Judy, well, because when he meets Judy, he tells her, "You look just like Madeline. Are you Madeline?" And she says, "No, I'm not Madeline. I'm Judy. I don't know who Madeline is. I don't know who you're talking about." So the only way that he finds out that Judy is lying, that she was not acting as Madeline, because you see, at this point, he doesn't know that there was somebody acting out to be Madeline. So there's a third character. There's the real Madeline, who we never see in the whole movie. We never see her real face, because how can we? We're supposed to be tricked and fooled into believing that Judy is Madeline. Otherwise, you would see that those are two different human beings. But anyway, so Madeline, that we know, was never Madeline. She was always Judy. And now, how does John finally manage to prove that she was indeed Judy and not Madeline? That Kim Novak was Judy and not Madeline? Because in his dream, he remembers from a painting. This is part of the story that I haven't told you yet, but doesn't matter. There's a painting that's related to Madeline's past, and there's a necklace around the neck of Madeline, and it's with red rubies, and it's very kind of reminiscent. It's like a piece of jewelry that unlocks many mysteries. Does the Owl Cave ring a bell? Anybody? In fact, in his dream, he sees, as a very important part of that dream, is this necklace on the painting. And then, of course, 1 hour later in the movie, we actually see him, well, she's lying to him about who she is and not who she is. And then at one point, she takes out the necklace and puts it around, and then he goes like, "Oh my God, that's the necklace from the dream and from the painting. I caught you red-handed right there. So you did act as Madeline, but you were always Judy." Anyway, of course, it's a movie from the late 50s. The morale was very different back then. He was an ex-cop or a cop, and I mean, falling in love with a criminal, it can't happen, obviously. So it couldn't end well. So I'm not going to spoil the ending for you guys, because it's irrelevant to our plot line. Well, maybe it's not that irrelevant, because how does Vertigo end? Melinda says, "I'm bringing you to MTG. I'm not good with abbreviations. What is MTG for? Meeting the groupies?" Whatever. Anyway, so you know what I mean, guys? Like, okay, the ending is like this. Well, anyway, we spoiled everything until now. He goes back up to the tower, to the top of the tower where Kim Novak, aka the fake Madeline, first allegedly jumped. And then she tells him, "I never jumped. Obviously, I'm still alive." But the husband of Madeline was there with a Madeline that was drugged, and he kicked her off the roof. And I just hid until everybody was gone, and then I left. So it's horrible what they did to that poor woman. But but she loves John so much, she really fell in love with him, that she wants him, you know. But of course, the moral of that time, how can a cop fall in love with a bad person? You know, not possible. Today's day and age, everything is possible. I mean, just look who our politicians are. But I digress. So, and then what happens is they kiss, and then this shadow, like a ghostly figure, appears from the staircase. And mind you, we're on the top of this tower in this church area. I don't know, it was like a sanctuary or like a cloister of some sorts or something. And Kim Novak, aka Judy, gets super scared. Jumps back, and of course she falls out of the window and falls out of the tower and dies just like the real Madeline actually did, falling off the roof. And that shadow turns out to be this nun. And I thought it was going to be Midge, Barbara Bel Geddes, but that would have been a great twist. Of course, back in the day, that would have not been morally acceptable for an ending. But anyway, it's a nun, just a nun. So yeah, and then I just kind of connected all the dots, and to me, Judy's Madeline, and maybe it's a hint that Lynch is giving us through Jeffries as well when he says to Mr. C, you've already seen Judy. And since Madeline is never mentioned in season 2 because she might, in season 3 because she might be Judy, and since the memory of Madeline, I mean, people just accept the fact that she is Laura's cousin, but she could be Laura. But if Madeline could be Laura, then Judy is Madeline. Then Judy is Laura. So we go back to that theory that I had a couple of videos ago, that actually Judy might be in Laura now. Now, I know a lot of you are totally against it, and Laura is the one, she's the good, and she's the chosen one, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's all a possibility. This is just a theory. We're just adding texture and nuances and more layers to this wonderful landscape that is Twin Peaks. And I'm going to be the last person who's ever going to make a live stream or a video or whatever, trying to debunk other people's theories. I think all of them are beautiful. I mean, some of them I can relate to. Others I cannot relate to. Others I can relate to more or less. But nevertheless, I don't trash and bash people if they have a different opinion. You know, I think that's really, really rude, and just not my way of doing things. But I've seen a lot of videos out there of people really doing it and really being kind of like angry if somebody has a theory different from their own. That's crazy, guys. I just love adding textures and layers and colors to all of these, to this really colorful world of Twin Peaks. And Alfred Hitchcock does play a big role in David Lynch's formation, in his growth, in his artistic development. So if in fact there's nothing technically true to this theory of Vertigo's Madeline and Judy having anything to do with Madeline and Judy from Lynch's Twin Peaks, that's fine too. It's totally possible. I mean, Lynch was super small and a kid when Vertigo first came out. So if Lynch watched Vertigo when he was super young, maybe, you know how things are, beautiful things that inspire us and things that move us, they root themselves in our subconscious minds. So they might pop out 50 years later, 20, 30, 50 years later, without us even knowing why they pop out the way they do. So even though maybe Lynch did not, actively pursue that endeavor of making Madeline and Judy from Vertigo into Madeline and Judy from Twin Peaks, including Laura, I still do believe that subconsciously, Hitchcock's Vertigo did play a role in Lynch's artistic creation, in his artistic decisions, in his way of dealing with the matter of developing the story and the plot line of Twin Peaks. This I do believe. Whether or not it's conscious or subconscious, we don't know. At least on a subconscious level, I'm sure Hitchcock for sure, but also Vertigo and the plot line and the names of the characters and the fact that they changed the color of their hair and it's the same actress acting different roles, all of that played for sure a big role in Lynch's writing and creation of Twin Peaks. So, let's see what y'all guys are saying. Melinda is like, I'm bringing you to a meeting. What meeting? Oh my God, live? Oh, okay, that's so cool. Patricia says that falling off the roof part was super theatrical and epic. Yes, it was. Folumgitsia, there is another possibility. Judy is no one. Everybody forgets something essential. We live inside a dream. You're totally right. Judy can be also absolutely no one. And it's all just a dream. That's totally plausible as well. James says, but then that implies Bob killed Judy, who he makes for a difficult, which makes for difficult explanation. Yes, it does make for a difficult explanation, but very difficult explanation. But then again, it makes it more interesting. Why would evil need to be just pure evil? And evil can fight against evil as well. I don't believe in this simplistic way of just separating there's evil and there's good. And everybody who's good has to like each other. And everybody who's evil has to like each other. There could be evil battling evil. I mean, let's not forget He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Stupid example. Maybe not. But Skeletor and Hordak, for who doesn't know, some of you do know, they didn't really like each other. They're both evil, but they're enemies. Judy, maybe Judy wanted to penetrate the Black Lodge undercover as Maddie or Laura or whatever, and Bob just didn't want to have it. We also know that in season 3, Judy gives birth. She spews out Bob, but for all we know, she could have freaking killed him centuries prior, and she just barfed him out. Who says that he was just born for the first time? Maybe she defeated him once, and after the nuclear explosion, she had this visceral reaction to it, got poisoned or whatever, and just barfed out all the evil that she was eating up anyway in the past. We don't know, and we will never know as long as Lynch doesn't give us an explanation. But for all we do know is that we can use our minds to invent anything we want to invent, really. And to think that Judy might have eaten Bob and then barfed him out again is a possibility. Just as well as the possibility and option that she birthed him for the first time in the 40s, after the first nuclear explosion, detonation or test experiment was made. So everything is open for debate and everything is possible, which makes it beautiful, but also makes it frustrating because Lynch is so hermetic about not saying anything, which can be frustrating, obviously. But at the same time, I mean, I'm a strong person. I'm not letting it get to me. I just want to enjoy it. And I'm making these because I love you guys and I love how you interact with me about these things. And also because I want to keep the interest alive. I want to keep that fire. I want the fire to walk with us. And I want the fire to keep walking with us while we're not getting new episodes of Twin Peaks. We just got to keep the interest alive. And we have to keep definitely that spark going, And if Lynch ever kind of sees this or Mark Frost, that they really get into the groove. And write some more and create some more, because it definitely merits. As much as we love The Return, it wasn't complete. Not that we needed a completion of anything, but we need... The Return was not only was it not complete, but The Return just added more questions, you know what I mean? Like literally. And even the fact that we say, okay, the Cooper and Doppelganger Cooper thing has been solved, meh, it hasn't really been solved. I mean, the good Coop allegedly is out of the lodge now because he has united all the fragments of the soul, but that's again something we think. We're not sure about that either. So I would suggest the only thing to do in a possible Twin Peaks season 4, you can't suggest anything to an artist. Artists do whatever they want to do. Otherwise, they're not free. I get it. But just a nanogram or a nano ounce less abstraction. Just a little bit less abstraction, for a possible season 4. That's all I'm asking. Maybe just a tiny little nugget, just a little nugget of something that is less like that feels less like sand and water just like pouring through your hand and you can't hold it. I find it very difficult sometimes with the new Twin Peaks to grasp onto something, to keep onto something. I always have the feeling I'm lifting my hands out of the sand and it just like all falls away. Maybe I have like one little pebble left, but then when I want to look at it, it's like so small and I can't really focus onto it. And then it's, I need a little bit more substance, just a tiny bit. or leave it abstract, but just give me some more illusions at least, you know, because it was beautiful that it was challenging to deal with this new return and to figure it out. It was very mind-boggling, but it was also frustrating at times because I knew that there was not going to be a solution really. I knew from the first second where that thing was heading towards, and I love Lynch's image making and compositions and the pace, and that's what keeps me going. That's what keeps me wanting to see more. That's all fine, but that is beautiful once the show is over, because I can go back and enjoy every scene without anticipation of what's coming next, you know. As I said before, many weeks ago, when we first saw, you know, the scene with Lynch in his hotel room, and Albert comes in and there's this French lady there and takes her half an hour to get dressed and leave. I just wanted the show I wanted the pace to speed up, because I wanted certain things to get solved, which of course didn't get solved in the end. But now I love that scene, because I don't have that tension in me to wait to see what's coming next. I enjoy that scene. That scene alone is a little short movie, really. And now I can enjoy it as such. So it always has its pros and cons. You can weigh it, you know. But we did an incredibly abstract season 3. Season 4, make it slightly different. Whatever. Anyway. Aline says connection is freezing up, but I'm done anyway. So Gary says howdy, Gary. Prada, Elena says hi, Dacob from Italy. Hello. No, not Prada. Preda. Hi, Preda. How you doing? Todd F is laughing. James says about Bob and Judy eating Bob or killing Bob. He says, true. Maybe Bob was jealous of his creator, just like the whole Lucifer fallen angel story. Everything's a possibility, guys. But anyway, that's all I wanted to say. Thank you so much for tuning in. I love you all. Thanks for always coming back and writing great comments and just keeping the debate alive. So I'm going to get ready now for the next video, because I'm just going to jump into the next one. And for all the people that are loving Twin Peaks, but also other topics I make, you know, I'm trying to make it fair for everybody. So see you in a couple of minutes. Take care, everybody. And also for Twin Peaks, see you soon for Twin Peaks stuff. Oh yeah, so subscribe to my channel here on YouTube if you haven't already, and thumb up this video. I need to see those thumbs going up if you want to share the love. Show me the sizzle, the sizzle majizzle. What I want to say, I'm also on Instagram. I'm on Twitter and also on Snapchat. Super Dacob, all spelled together. So if you want to see stuff there as well, because I post a lot of things there that I don't post here. It's all media related. Some stuff is just made for Instagram, while other things are made for Snapchat. Or I don't know, stuff like that. But anyway, guys, love you so much, and see you in a couple of minutes. Bye.